Hi everybody, thank you very much for attending this presentation of the book. I think it's a difficult endeavor because the book is written in German and I try now to somehow summarize the main ideas in English. There will be an English version coming out hopefully end of this year, beginning of next year. But I think it's important that everyone has the chance to somehow at least grasp the main ideas that are written in this book, especially for our consultants, for our product managers, but also for everyone in our company, obviously, because we all have to understand what we're doing. And to start with, the idea of writing this book had mainly four goals. One was first very, very egoistic for myself, to have time to think what we are doing and how we could improve things in our company. Second is for everyone who's working in our company to somehow a little bit understand what journey we are on, why we are doing these things and how we are doing these things, and probably also how we can improve these. And then the third goal is for customers, that when we have joint projects, that our customers also understand what we're doing, how we're doing it, and also having a joint basis. And then the fourth goal, of course, also for people that are not working in our company, not working with our company, to explain what we are doing and also probably make them interested and help them to go with us in this way. The book itself is done in three main parts. One part is observations. That means what do we observe in organizations and what doesn't work as it should, and how we somehow even got used to live like that. The second part is about proposals. How can we do things differently? And there we are describing a lot of the things that we have already developed and think it's quite good, like team recruiting, like working on your own ideas and tasks and joint strategizing and so on. And there are others where we have just inspiration, where we say, well, we are not yet there. We don't know how exactly it works, but we have some ideas. And then the third part of the book is about how to start, what to do. And I will exactly go like that through the book. I'm happy that we have a lot of good illustrations. That means it makes it easier for us all to at least grasp some ideas. And whenever you have any question, please use the chat. Then you can ask some questions in the meantime. Okay, let's start with the observations. On one side, what we are seeing is that we have actually a lot of ideas of what a boss should be able to do. And whenever we think of a boss, he should be visionary and motivate the people. On the other side, he should be very, very good organized and have structures and processes. We want someone who is very fair to everyone and treats everyone equally. And on the other side, he or she should develop top talents especially. We expect that people don't make any mistakes, but on the other side should be very innovative and so on. That means there are a lot of things that we ask from people to do, and it's really difficult that just one person alone can cover this whole profile that we expect from people, from bosses. And therefore the question is, what will be the future? And when we see that in former days, when we didn't have any other means and our organizations were growing very, very fast, then we had to have some hierarchies that aggregated information on one side and then on the other side also distributed decisions. That means there was only one place where you could see the whole company and decide for the whole company, and that was on top. And nowadays, it's not necessary anymore. If I'm on one corner of the company, I can have the means to see all the information that is relevant for me, even if it comes from another part of the organization. I don't need these hierarchies. And therefore, the question is, how does this change how we organize ourselves? And do we find solutions that probably this picture of what we ask from bosses changes a little bit and becomes more human. That means that we really can do that, and that probably something of a leadership will change from being at the top of a pyramid to be someone who guides and leads certain topics, certain processes, but is more or less somehow connected into a company and not someone on the top who we ask everything to solve. And when we look, it's interesting that we see a lot of things happening in organizations that we got used to, although they are totally dysfunctional. And I have some examples. One is, it's what in German we call Lehmschicht. That means it's something like, in English, it's rotten wood. It's not a nice term. But we hear a lot of CEOs that say, well, I cannot steer my company. And the things that I give as a mandate are best case considered as a nice idea that other people could follow or not. That means CEOs feel somehow disempowered to steer a company because whatever they say, the organization does what they want. And they feel quite unhappy with that, especially if you're in large organizations. And on the other side, the same situation observed from employees. They say, well, I would exactly know what to do. I would exactly know where we should go, but I cannot do it. That means I feel powerless to do what I think would be best for the organization. And in between, we have the middle managers that get a lot of pressure from top. You have to deliver results. You have to do that. You have to do that. And on the other side, they get also a lot of expectations from the employees, asking them for freedom that they even don't have themselves. That means we see there's a huge organization and everybody feels somehow disempowered to do the job. And the question is, how can we solve that? Another observation that we have is that we all know that we should work more together in companies to cope with the challenges we're facing. We should have more interdisciplinary teams that work together to solve problems. And the interesting part, because we have so much to do, is that a lot of people say, well, sometime I have to work, and therefore I close the doors, I put some times when I can be disturbed, and the rest of the time I want to work. And what we also see is that because there's so much pressure, we have to bring so much things forward, that the people that have the same understanding of the work closely together and against the others that don't understand them. And that means instead of breaking up the silos that we have in our company, we even fortify them and make them even stronger, although we know we should work together. It's interesting, isn't it? And everyone knows that. Companies have to become more agile, and often what's happening is CEOs travel to Silicon Valley like a group therapy and looking at agile products, and then they come back and think, okay, now I've understood what we have to do. We have to become more agile. They come back with terms like Scrum, Kanban, piloting, and other things. And then they start saying, okay, I have understood. We have to become more agile. More agile means more self-organizing, organized stuff. And then what's happening that's quite interesting is that most of the time, total chaos starts in a company when you just say organize yourself. And there's a nice picture one CEO told me. He said, well, you know, Herman, there was this tiger in the cage and was running in circles and saying, let me out, let me out. And then me says, yes, okay, you can go out. I opened the door, and guess what happened? The tiger was still going in circles in the cage and asking, who feeds me now, who feeds me now? That means the CEO had perception, this tiger couldn't go. On the other side, when we look how the same situation is seen by employees, there's a boss coming back saying, okay, now organize yourself. He takes out full responsibility. He says, okay, it's your responsibility, but we don't have the means. That means the moment I want to do something, I now have to bring all the people I need for my work together on one table, and I have to convince them. Earlier days, I just had to convince the boss, and if the boss said yes, go in this direction, and everyone had to follow. And now I have to convince everyone, and probably even if everyone thinks it's a good idea, then probably not everyone has time to help me. And therefore, everyone in an organization can say no, and nobody can say yes. And that's a total overstrainment. It means that it's chaos, that it's not being able to bring certain things forward. And when we look at the other interesting observation is that outside of companies, we have a lot of innovations. The way we book flights, the way we organize cabs, and so on. A lot of innovation outside of companies. And if we look inside of companies, how we organize the working together, that's still like 100 years ago, when there was the scientific management. Huge innovation outside of companies and the total innovation gap inside companies. We have to find new ways how we work together. We have to be innovative in the way we work together. And to understand innovation is always about a lot of people trying something new. When people thought, okay, now the time is right to fly. A lot of people tried to build airplanes. And most of the airplanes didn't fly. And then out of all these failures, some brothers got the right idea how to build an airplane, and then this airplane is flying. And all of the others were important for learning the way, but they were not successful in the way. And we have to find new ways how we organize our companies, because we see it doesn't work any longer how we organized in the past, and we don't see the future. And therefore we have to experiment. We have to try, we have to learn, we have to make mistakes. And out of that, finding the right way to come together. And that's all this book all about. That means to say, well, we have to innovate, we have to find new ways, and we want to provide something like a map, how to innovate, where to innovate, and what to expect, and providing some examples of what could be a good solution. But it's important to say we are on our way. We don't pretend to say we know everything and we have everything solved. We're probably in certain parts a little step ahead of other companies, but it's still a lot of way to go. And now developing this map I was talking about is one side is the question of what role an employee has in a company. It could be the executor of what others tell me, or it could be something like an entrepreneur, someone who decides what to do, at least in my own area of work. And the interesting point is, this is a role that the employee chooses. That means we all choose if we just want to execute what others tell us, or if we want to take over responsibility. Because we all know that, and that's also a nice picture here, that there are some people in a company that you think they cannot put one feet before the other, but in their leisure time, they're organizing a soccer club or orchestra or whatever. That means they can, if they want, and if they're allowed to. And often in companies, we have somehow learned that it's not welcomed. Sometimes it's even punished, and therefore I decide not to take over responsibility. Because we often get asked, well, is your concept not something for very mature people and very intellectually advanced people? We say, no, everyone can in his or her area of work take over responsibility, but it's a choice that these people take. And the interesting point is that this becomes even more important when we look that we are now working in a knowledge economy. When Henry Ford had his workers, he could say, okay, you have to produce this part of the car, and that many pieces a day. And you could tell, you could measure, and then you could say, okay, was it a good job or not? And nowadays, we can decide what we want to do. And because we can decide what we do, we cannot control anymore how people work. And I had one experience with a cleaning lady cleaning our offices, and I have seen that some cleaning persons did just what we ordered them, exactly 5 minutes there, 5 minutes there, 5 minutes there. And there was another, I called it the courageous cleaning person, deciding where to clean. And then this person decided not to clean a certain area because it was more or less proper, and taking more time for another area. And that's courageous, that it takes courage, because we could have come to this person and say, well, you didn't clean there, we told you to clean there. But it's obvious that this person had a higher productivity because this person was deciding where to clean. That means it's not only people working behind desks that are knowledge workers, it's everyone who can decide where to focus on. That's a very important thing. And that means that is one thing the role that an employee takes in his work. And the other thing that we have seen is how our organizations designed. And on one side, we all know the classical steered organization, someone at the top and everyone following. And then we see more agile, more self-organized organizations. All of these things are obviously not black or white. There are a lot of shadows in between how you can organize the working together in a company. And that means now putting that as a map, we can see different areas. That means we can on one side see when the employee is an executor and behaves like an executor, and the organization is steered, then you have the classic command and control. That works perfectly if people just follow. But we nowadays see that often people don't follow that way, and then we have a shadow organization. That means people do what they think is right, although we have an organization that would probably say what they have to do. And it's quite interesting that most of the time, I would say organizations only function because of the shadow organization. Because we all know, we often hear, well, the process should be like that and that, but I want to make the customer happy, or I want to bring something forward, therefore I do it differently. And of course, I even see my boss understanding the mandate of his boss creatively. And say, okay, that's how I do it. And if he does it with his boss, why shouldn't I do it with my boss? And if I'm a leader, why shouldn't I expect that my employees do the same with me? That means there's a huge creative zone in the shadow organization, but it's also quite dangerous because there's an erosion of authority. People could sleep in the shadows, not so dangerous, but people can also do bad things. And I was looking in different industries, and for example, there was the whale of London. In the financial industry, he was gambling for billions of dollars, and he made a loss of billions of dollars. And then we looked at it, and this guy overstepped 300 times internal regulations in an industry where you have the highest density of compliance officers. They are policemen. And he could do it. And that's not one case. There are dozens of such cases in companies that are very, very publicly known, and even more, of course, not known. And even Volkswagen and Dieselgate probably is such a case where someone said, we'll produce such an engine, and because you could just trick the software without doing anything, you just did it because it's possible, and you had that much pressure to do it. That means it's really dangerous to have the shadow organization. And on the other side, then, and that's now an explanation for the agility trap. This is tigers in the cage. It means that the people, the responsible people go out and say, now organize yourself, but I don't provide the tools and the help to organize yourself, then you're still stuck to being an executor in an environment that is not self-organizing, and that doesn't work. That means then you're an overstrained organization. And of course we know there are also some teams in organization that work and function like an agile network, where everything works well, where you know how to organize yourself, and that it works perfectly. I've seen I had some chat. Well, the question is about pyramids and an inverted pyramid fit the structure we want to live in. I think at the end, out of my perspective, we still need leaders. Leaders have a different way of understanding their role. It's more like parts dividing of work, what everyone can do best, but it's not top, but it's also not below. I think it's one part of a team, and we all work together, but we need leaders. They don't always have to have a VP title, and they don't always have to have a hierarchical higher position, but for every topic you need leaders that take over responsibility and drive things. If we don't have that, we also have no advancement. That means we have to find ways, and I like more the picture of a network and not so much the picture of a pyramid, be it normal pyramid or different way. I think we have to find ways to understand that what we're doing is working in a network. Welcome. Okay, and now we have this organization, and that's quite an interesting point that when we're looking at an HR network. The question is, what is an HR network and what makes an HR network functioning? And there are some very interesting things, and one very good analogy is traffic, individual traffic, because there you can have, you have no master car. There's no car that says you have to go that way and you have to go that way. But we have a lot of different things that enable traffic to work. We have here rules. That means we drive on the right side. If we wouldn't have had the rule, it would be very difficult for traffic and also dangerous. And there would be a lot of problems, of course. That means if we would say organize yourself, drive yourself, but we wouldn't provide the rule, drive on the right side, it would be difficult for participants to participate in traffic. Then we have all the infrastructure, like traffic lights, pedestrian crossings, and other things that are also important. If not, traffic would work. And then we also have to have the competences of all the participants, meaning they can drive, and they are allowed to drive, and that we do the driver's school. And if they don't have that, all these three dimensions doesn't work. And it's quite interesting. I was looking at a lot of different things. For example, the question is, how do you organize and how do you make rules? Even the quality of rules is quite different. For example, in our areas, we give priority if someone comes from the right side. If we would change that and saying someone comes from the left side has priority, that would change a lot of things. And Napoleon just overlooked it. He was taking the rules from Great Britain. It changed the way to drive on the right side, but it didn't mirror this rule. And just imagine nowadays, because everyone coming into roundabout comes from the right side, we always have to say, give priority to the others. If it would have left before right, the people inside the roundabout would have priority, just naturally. The same now if we have this Vorrangstraßen, streets where you have the possibility to drive faster. Nowadays in Europe, you have always the sign you are on a road with priority, and every street that comes in, you have to say give priority. If it would have left before right, it would be easy. No thanks. It means it's not only that you have rules, it's also very important what the quality of the rules are. And that's the map that we developed, saying you have command and control, shadow, overstrained organization, HR networks. And now, that's okay, and most of the companies that's quite interesting have different developments of how they develop. For example, what's very classic, it means you start with an organization that's quite command and control, top-down, then there's more and more shadow, then companies say, okay, let's go to HR networks, but you overstrain the organization because you don't have the right rules, and then hopefully you come to an HR network. But there are also different other ways how people and teams can drive within an organization. And what's important is actually in most of the teams and in most organizations you have everything. You have mind control, you have shadow, you have overstrainment, and agile networks. Sometimes even in teams, for different works, you have a different setting of the organization. That's fine, that's okay. Our biggest problem is that when we think of management, we only think command and control. Everything that we learn in our school books, everything that we think of how we could improve, is always about command and control. And we don't see the other things, but they are there. And we are often asked when we have, for example, in the recruiting, they say, in our company, the whole team recruits new colleagues. And people look at us and ask, how can they do that? They're not trained, they're not professionals, and so on. And don't they just hire the nice guys and not the right guys? And we say, well, of course, it could happen. But listen, look in your organization. I'm sure you have some bosses in your company that do exactly that. They ask the team, okay, whom should we hire, what competencies should this person have? Then they do some like a pre-selection, then they invite the team and present the candidates, and then the team gives feedback, and then at the end, the boss decides. But based on the feedback, and the majority of the team would say, we wouldn't hire this person, then this boss wouldn't hire. That means it's interesting. Formally, the boss has decided. Informally, it was the team. That means, because we don't see it, we have two major issues. One is we don't support this boss with the right tools, with the right processes. What recruiting solution supports him or her to doing that, what internal process support, and so on. That means we don't provide support for this working. And on the other side, others that don't work like that don't even know that they could do it differently. That means we don't propagate best practices because it's just not seen. We self don't see it. And that's one of the problems that we then face, because we don't see it and we don't solve it, and we don't help the people that are in these areas. And therefore, what we are saying, and that's what we call the operating system, we have to find something like an operating system that covers and modernizes command and control and adds agile networks and systems of that. And we first, when we started, thought, okay, everything has to be an agile network. And we have realized, no, that doesn't work. We have to have really this big cleavage between good command and control and working agile networks. And when we're thinking of modernizing command and control, there's a really good example, because if we would make a drawing of control, we probably would draw a policeman measuring the speed you're driving and then giving you a fine to do it fast. That's our classic concept of control. But now in traffic, there are some signals. I don't know if you know them, probably most of us know. There's some signals that show you the speed you're driving, and if you're driving nicely, then it's green and there's a smiley, and if you're driving too fast, it's red and the smiley looks grumpy. And the interesting point is, people know, I don't get flash, I don't get fine, and the information on this display is the same information I have in my car myself. That means redundant information. Nevertheless, people adjust their speed sustainably, even if I know it's like that. And that's an idea that there's a lot of studies why this works. And my simple translation is, because this information is outside of my car, and some others could see that I behave not correctly, triggers me to drive the right speed. And now translating that in a company, for example, when we're talking about expenses, a lot of companies have books of expense rules, how to expense. And there are other companies that say, well, our rule for expenses is what is in the best interest of the company. Point. One sentence. And then the translation of that is, the only thing what they do additionally is make all expenses transparent. That means you see it from a CEO, you see it from every employee. And even that, just to know that this information is transparent, probably lets you think twice if you want to have a lavish dinner just with your friends. And some such things. And that means we can also understand that the command and control can be modernized in certain ways. And we also have to think what the new tools provide you as means to make it transparent. Earlier days it wasn't possible. You could not make your expenses transparent because it was a huge effort to do. Now everything is in the system, you can make it transparent easily. Therefore you can define other ways of controlling. And that's what we think. We think we have to modernize command and control, and we have to add agile networks. And if we can do that, then we hope we can bring people out of the shadows, either in a good working command and control or in a good working agile network, and also people out of the overstrainment into a thing that works. And that's what we're trying to do. And we have looked at a lot of things. What is it what we can provide to help people to take over more responsibility? And we have found 5 main concepts that are very important. That means transparency. I have to have the information to take over responsibility. If I don't have all the information that I need, I cannot decide what's right. And the interesting point is that often when we're talking about systems and implementing systems in companies, we always think, okay, what does this person need to know? And this information that the person gets, nothing else. And we have to change to a concept of transparency by default, and only if there's a really, really good reason not to make certain information transparent, then we don't make it transparent. It's still a different approach. But only by that, you really can have people that take over responsibility. You have to trust. You have to trust that the majority of the people wants to be for the good and not doing something bad. And we can learn a lot from, for example, Wikipedia. When they started, imagine few young guys, imagine they would come to the company that does the Encyclopedia Britannica or Brockhaus and say, hey, guys, we're making a platform, everyone can put in his knowledge and you're out of business soon. They would have laughed and said, funny, 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 how does this work? People will not do it, people will write crap in it, and so on and so on. And then there's no belief they will do the right things. And then we all know nowadays Wikipedia's history has proven that it works. But it was interesting, they had to have the trust that the people in there. Overall, the majority of the people want to do contribute something positive and not trying to vandalize something. And of course, you also have to have the tolerance that there are mistakes. And then, if there's a mistake, when we look how Wikipedia works with mistakes, if there are mistakes in Wikipedia, then it's really very, very well seen. That means they make it even transparent, say there's a mistake or there's a source missing, and then others can help solve problems. And of course, sometimes mistakes just happen. Yeah? We know in the traffic, if you have an accident, it's okay. Yeah? Of course, if you were drunk or so on, then it's not okay. But if you just have an accident parking in, it's okay. We know it belongs to the system. And that is something we have to learn in companies. That means if we try to be self-organizing or more self-organizing, then we also have to accept that people do mistakes. And it's easy to understand that because also the bosses do mistakes. Why shouldn't people do mistakes? And often when there's a mistake going on, then they say, I have known it doesn't work. That means transparency, tolerance for mistakes. We have to involve people and we have to develop the competences to use this responsibility and also giving the competences to use this responsibility that I can decide and that nobody overrules me and says, well, you can do as long as you do exactly how I want it. That doesn't work. And we really have to give people the competence also to do it, and then it's also what they want to do. And what they think is the right thing. And also concerning organization, we see you have to have a common purpose. To work in this direction, you have to have a culture that works. Taking this example of the traffic, it's a very good example. There are people that can perfectly drive in Germany and Switzerland because there are clear rules. there's good infrastructure, and everyone has the competences. They don't feel so comfortable anymore if they're driving in southern Italy, although the same rules, more or less the same infrastructure, and somehow all the same competences. But nevertheless, they don't feel so good there because there's a different culture of living these rules. That means culture is also quite important, and they have a good culture that supports people taking over responsibility. We have to have rules and rituals. Role models is quite important, and also it has to be simple. If it's too complicated, then you don't do it because it's too complicated. And these are somehow ideas along that we do it. We often see that we have in organizations, probably even the right rules, we have also the competence of the people, but the infrastructure doesn't fit it. For example, very, very burdensome processes and so on. And therefore, we also see infrastructure 1.0 was about efficiency, and infrastructure 2.0 is more about collaboration and doing the right things. And also, there are a lot of different concepts. I can just shortly go over it, but we see what we at Hop Humanities are doing is more providing an infrastructure 2.0, trying to help people to collaborate and working together, and on the other side, but also in certain processes we provide 1.0, where we just say it's about efficiency. Our map is more or less like a cube with 3 dimensions, and that's when we're talking about 3-dimensional solutions. On one side, we have to have the right things for an organization, that means the rules, rituals, culture. We have to have the right competences in the sense of knowing how to do and in the sense of being allowed to do. And then we have to have the right infrastructure. And only with these 3 dimensions, we know that the things work. If we miss one dimension, it doesn't work. And that's something that we have seen and learned in our company. We have seen, okay, we have some problems, and then we were working very hard in defining new rules, and then we did 1 year the manifesto, the second year we did our constitution. That means we had really good rules, we have really good rules now, we also have somehow quite okay infrastructure. But what is missing is to have the competence of really living it and being used to live it, and being allowed to live it, that it can work. And therefore, for example, for our organization, we have to develop the driving school for all of us to know how to handle it and to somehow exercise the rules that we have defined to really properly use them. And if one dimension is missing, then it doesn't work very well. And that was more or less information about how we look at things and that we understand. We have to make experiments, and our experiments have to be 3-dimensional, that they somehow work. And now we switch to the second part. First part was observation and understanding of the situation. And now the second part is we do some proposals, what you could do in a company, in an organization, or just for your own environment to improve the situation and to make experiments. And we have said, well, we want to somehow build our model in several steps. That means we see a good operating system can have different shades of how it works. And for example, talking about leadership, on the very left lower end is dictatorship. We think that's not a good model, but it exists. We say it's out of good operating system, but it's also operating that works. Then we have in a command and control on one side a leader that tries to convince people. That means I decide, and then I convince the people, however, that they can follow me. Then, if I want to involve them a little bit more, I can say, I'm the leader, but I ask the people of their opinion, I think of that, and then out of all the input, I lead convincing people. But I involve people. And then going to your self-organization, the first step would be that someone is responsible to organize the process and to go through it. This is, for example, in Scrum, very good. They have Scrum Master and the product owner, and they organize this process of self-organizing. And then you can obviously also have something where the people design themselves their organization, but it has also to be organized. And then, of course, on the other spectrum, it's chaos. That means if there's no organization, then you end up in chaos. And we did a lot of examples of in certain areas for strategy, organization, planning, leadership, performance, positions, development, salaries. There are different examples of how you can organize that, and where we have some ideas. And I will go shortly in a few of them. And what I wanted to make as one example is, for example, when we're talking about decisions, you can have a boss who says, don't think, just do what I told you. Yeah? Dictatorship. You can have someone who says, I decided because that is convincing. You can ask, okay, what is your opinion? I decided that, and I explain it, that it was involving. I can say, well, we all together decide, yeah? But I'm part of this, and I organize this process of decision, or say, decide yourself. But the important point is that it's also what we had to learn the hard way, is if you say decide yourself, and you don't provide the means for this decision, then you will never have a decision. Yeah? You're circling and circling around and nothing goes, because earlier days it was the boss who decided, and now we have to decide, but we don't have means, because I have to have consent, and that's very inefficient. On the other side, if you say, well, whenever we take decisions, depending on what it is, there are certain people that can decide, and then we use maturity rule. For example, simple maturity, super maturity, whatever, but we decide, then and then will be the decision date, and then everyone votes, and then with 50 plus 1, this decision is taken. Or with 70 plus 1, this decision is taken. That means the moment we have a mechanism that is agreed, then we can make decisions self-organized. If we don't have it, then we have a problem. Then we have exactly these things that nobody can decide. And there are different other examples of control, of how to win employees, how to do employee talks during the year, how to learn, and so on. And that was very general, and what we then did is a step-by-step, do-it-yourself idea how to do certain things. Yeah? And one is, what is my job? Because normally I expect that the company tells me what my job is. I got hired, I got paid for it, therefore someone has to define what is my job. And whenever I'm not happy, I'm running to my boss and saying, please change that. And we say, well, that is one of the main responsibilities of knowledge workers, to think through what is my job. Even if my boss gives me a job description, I should think through what I think is my job. And if I don't get any, then I should think through and make it happen. Yeah? And that means that is something that there is a step-by-step recipe how to work in that, and you always see what is it about. Yeah? By defining my own job, I get something like an internal compass that helps me to decide what is important or not. And then what are the advantages of it, what are the problems of it, how does it work in the different levels. Then there are some questions that help me to answer what is my job, and how can I do it in the step 2 if I have a boss that let me do certain things. How can I do it in step 3 and step 4 and so on. And then of course there's always the question of how can you implement such a thing if you want to do it. And especially as an employee, I just can do it for myself. Nobody forbids me to just think through what is my job and then go to my boss and say, well, look, that is how I understand my job. And even if there's company processes that ask you for different things, and even if there's no process that asks you for anything, you can just do it. And you will see it helps you to become more productive when you exactly understand what you want to do. And especially if you then have somehow agreed on that with your boss and your colleagues. And if your boss doesn't want to do it,
it's up to you to invite him. And if they even wouldn't talk about you about that, what seldom would happen, then you just did it for you and it helps you to do your job better. And then also what hurdles you have to see if you implement that and how you can overcome them. And also, of course, what are the main reasons why not to do it, and then some arguments why it should work. And that means it started with what is my job, and then there's an example of how to recruit. That means all the things, why do we do team recruiting? Because the team together can better source people, can better decide, can better onboard, it's more commitment and so on. And also then a step-by-step explanation of who's responsible for what and how to do it and so on. And also, again, the problems that can arise, how do you implement it, and what is people that say, well, people are not qualified for doing it, they don't have the time, and so on. Also, quite in detail described here. Then the next process that is obviously described is our leadership elections. Why do we do it? Because it's not just I can elect a leader, what we have learned during these years now we're doing it. It increases the quality of leadership because once a year you have to think through what is required for me as a leader, and the team also has to think through what do we want from the leader, and then you discuss it and you find a joint understanding of what is required now. That increases the quality of leadership. And of course, it's also the possibility to vote out leaders that don't work anymore because probably they came to their limits. And that's happening, that the people come to their limits because they were so successful that their job has grown or whatever reason. And if you find a way to vote out people, that it becomes more natural and it doesn't produce the damage that we normally see if leaders are just sticking till the damage is so big that they have to go. And there are a lot of other examples and how you do it, what are the hurdles, how to overcome them, and so on. Step by step, recipe how to do it. Then the spiral careers we're talking about, you had a position, you're stepping back or stepping down, you learn from your successor, you mentor your successor, and probably later on if you want, you can take over another position. How to do that, how to implement it, how to overcome the hurdles, and so on. And then the last of these examples is how do we do joint strategizing. It means what we in our company do once a year on the strategy weekend. How can you do that even in bigger companies? How to bring up ideas? How to develop them, and so on. Also, our experiences how we do that. And this is these are the very detailed examples because there we have some experience. We say, well, that's something you could try out, and we would be happy if you could provide your input. That means all of these recipes are openly online. That means we made an open operating system. They are on the web page os.help.com, and you can go there, you can read it, you can comment, you can give your feedback, and that's something we want to do to get some people working together with us. And then the part 3 are inspirations. There are some ideas we have heard or we have experienced somehow, but we don't have the final concept. For example, how to finance innovations and how to get more innovation in a company. Think of every employee has a certain budget and can invest whatever he wants or she wants. A new computer, a new printer, the project of a colleague, whatever. Yeah? Everyone has the same amount of money, and by that you can invest in things that the top management probably wouldn't do. Yeah? Something like a Kickstarter for companies. Then learning together and with each other, because the learning we actually have is somehow outdated to go to some seminars and think that's the way how we learn. Then also taking over responsibility and not saying someone else should solve it and how we could do it there. Then also what we in our company had as swarming to make a reorganization that is somehow self-responsive and self-organized. Of course, there are a lot of open questions, but I think it's worth to think of that because it cannot be that every time a big company reorganizes, there are hundreds of people planning a reorganization, and then the moment, and it takes years, and then the moment you say, now it's the rollout of the reorganization, it's already outdated. And that means we have to find better ways that the people can reorganize themselves. And then also joint performance, that means that we understand if I help someone else to become more performant, it's not paternalistic, saying, oh, come, I help you, or I'm your teacher, but saying we as a team understand we have to help each other to become better, and also taking over some responsibility that normally has a boss. Like saying, okay, you could do better. Then some experiments we also did about salary. How can we distribute the salary better in a better way than just by bosses who decide who should earn how much? There we did a lot of experiences and also seen some others, and we also trying to say where we are, and there's something that I'm actually paying a lot of attention, how can we improve that in the future. And then, of course, there are a lot of other examples how you can steer together your companies, talking about joint budgeting, joint product development, and so on. There are a lot of open issues that we don't have solved in our company, but there are other companies that have solved some issues, and we want to use this book and also the platform to bring together some ideas and to develop this operating system. So, this was the second part. It means there are a lot of examples where you can say, okay, what could I do? How could I do it? And if I have a certain problem, for example, like don't find the right people, then you just can say, okay, how do we do team recruitment? Or to say, I don't know who should be promoted to another team, to the team leader, you could try with leadership elections. And the question is, how do we implement these things? And one of the most important things that we have learned in our company is you have to understand these experiments that you try to learn fast, and then improve it. And don't do a rollout saying, okay, now we have a new concept that everyone has to do it. But we should always ask, this is the problem that we want to solve. We have an idea who wants to join. That means that we first start with the early adopters who are open for experiments, who also understand there are processes that are not perfectly done, and to learn to improve the system. And the more successful it gets, the more people will join. That means that we do it in a roll-in and not in a roll-out concept. That means people are able to be voluntarily joining a certain thing and not being forced to do it. And we have there a lot of examples and saying, okay, you could be an architect of your operating system. If you're an employee, you just can do it. And I have made this example of defining your own job. It's a quite good example where you can do a lot of things and taking responsibility in your area. Then as a leader, and so on. That means as an HR person, there are a lot of examples then what you could do in the different roles that are around the company. And then the question is, what would be the first step? And we have developed some tools that we now call rhythmics, where you can say, okay, how do I find out in what areas I should start? And we have the Eigenland that we have previously displayed, where you can find out what should we do, what is the scope, where should we start with, and then also some help in deciding what is the right thing to do. Now we all know the Eisenhower matrix, that is one help, but what is even more interesting is the behavioral matrix of the behavioral economics, where you say, okay, on one side is how aware am I about a certain problem and I want to change it, and how willing am I to change something. For example, I understand that we have a problem with global warming, high awareness nowadays, but how much I'm willing to reduce my standard of living to do something against it. That's a problem there, because that's not an easy way. On the other side, for a long time, there was, concerning smoking, there was no awareness that smoking is also harming other people. Therefore, everyone was smoking. And then when we learned that smoking is dangerous, but also for others, then at least you could reduce the smoking for others, passive smoking. Means we have to be aware where we have good awareness and where we have good willingness, and depending on what topics we could put where, we can do easy wins. If there is a high awareness and also high willingness, then you sometimes just need a certain nudge that tells you, please remember, like showing the speed on a display is something like such a nudge. Hey, it's fast. I know I shouldn't. I'm also willing not to drive too fast. It's just a nudge, and then I'm driving better. In other things, it's more difficult, and therefore you have to do more in that. It means we provide certain tools how to work with it. Legal serious play is something that is quite interesting, and also by working with the concept of legal serious play, I have learned a lot of things why this is really a good methodology, because people get out of the comfort zone, and by that you have more security in the team because everyone was going out of the comfort zone. You have the same amount of talking. That means people, normally some meetings are there's one person talking all the time and the others very little. And with legal serious play, you get everyone to say what he or she means, and that's a very good thing. And there are a lot of other positive things in legal serious play, for example. And then what is talking about the three dimensions of our infrastructure, we also say, well, it's not here, just coming there. We also have developed this metro mapping where we can draw different user journeys. Yeah, that means it's also something that is really helpful to understand how, when we define new ways to work together, to think in user journeys, that you see, okay, that is person A and person B, and how to the experience that we are now building, that we can make the processes that we are designing better. And we also have a lot of other things that we have developed now together with Rhythmix. And overall, it's about saying, okay, we try to do something like the lean startup cycle. That means we build something, we measure results, we learn, and then we improve of it. And with that, trying to make very small and fast cycles to learn out of our experiments and to improve it. We would have had much better results if we really would have gone through this circle, and we're now trying to do our experiments in this circle. And to end with that, everything starts somewhere, and it's just a small step everyone can do in his or her own environment to make a first step in this journey. And we invite everyone to take part of it, and we are sharing our experiences and trying to learn with others to find out the new operating system for the future. So, thank you very much for your interest and for taking your time. And now I would like to answer questions if there are some questions. I know it was a lot of information, but I tried to comprise this in this 1 hour.